Madness has always fascinated me. I think because it shows a different, a wilder sense of the world. I know it's a very dangerous thing and a terrible fate to suffer, but I also believe that there's a great source of power in madness. It's connected directly to what makes us a fascinating species. It has to do with our creative drive, our uncontrolled fertility of our mind. And I see a sort of direct connection between literature and madness, because it's the capacity to see in commonplace reality the flaming sword of the angel of history suddenly burning in your neighbor's hand. I think that literature at its best does not deal with truth or lies, with fact or fiction. It really deals in delirium, in the wild, abandoned fantasies of our imagination. And in that sense, it has a richness that science lacks, that history lacks as well, because it takes into account the entire landscape of our imagination. And many of those landscapes are deranged. They don't make sense, or they're an aspect of our fantasies, of our wishes, and our nightmares as well. And in that sense, literature can feed on everything that surrounds it. It can take materials from the darkest parts of our unconscious and mix them together with the brightest aspects that science uncovers about reality. And that is a great source of richness. I'm personally convinced that while it is fundamental, reason also blinds us. In some sense, I think you can tell it by looking at the world right now. The darker it gets, the more you can see. In that aspect, reality has always had a very strange shape, and but now it feels like that's speeding up. It feels like it's starting to become some sort of waking nightmare. But I think that perhaps we should consider that it's becoming that way because so many of our dreams are coming true. We've had these dreams of inhabiting our imagination, artificial intelligence, of creating something that's beyond us for so long, and those dreams are now creeping up and coming towards us faster and faster. Science is a fundamental tool to engage with the world. We couldn't live without it. But I do think that we have to temper its wisdom with what we've learned from the past and from the very deep past. I'll never forget some of the things that appear in Roberto Calasso's work, where he says that before thought is ardor, which is this burning of the spirit that comes before organized thought. And he also points out in the book that the search for esoteric knowledge, for deep knowledge, for deep truth, inevitably leads to almost absolute uncertainty. You're kind of left bare before the world. And I think science, when it goes deep into the world, also comes to that point of uncertainty. And we simply have to deal with it. There's no real way around it. I think that when you write, your job is not really to point a finger towards the truth and say, this is where truth lies. It's really quite the opposite. I think you have to somehow put a veil on what is true, to rekindle the mystery. And readers appreciate this sort of self-discovery. I don't think people want to be spoon-fed answers of any kind. I think they really want to feel that there's still some magic, some unknowability to the world, even if that magic and that mystery comes at a great price, because it shows us our limitations, it shows us our weakness, and it also shows us that no matter how hard we try, we will never be able to comprehend as much as we could, as much as we would like.